Howdy, hey everybody. My name is Ranger Kate. I'm out here at Palo Pinto Mountain State Park, and I'm going to be reading to y'all today. And this book is called The Girl Who Figured It Out, written by Minda Detler. So, I was born in a crowded village near Mumbai, India, to a poor, well, single mother. Not long before my first birthday, I became very sick. I couldn't move my legs, and my hips had tightened. I was paralyzed. The doctor told my birth mother I had a disease called polio. He told her I would never walk. Without money to care for me, my birth mother brought me to an orphanage and put me up for adoption. She prayed for another family to give me a better life. One day, Bruce and Ann Detler saw my photo and were drawn to my smile. They knew I was meant to be their daughter. Soon after, I flew to Spokane, Washington, and they adopted me. Life here is active in my goals, even if they seem impossible. You can do it, Minda, my dad would say. Just figure it out. I figured out lots of things, and that someone like me wasn't expected to do. First, I learned how to walk. After many surgeries on my hips and legs at 5 years old, I was fitted with leg braces and crutches. Next, I learned how to climb stairs so I could ride the school bus with my sister. After that, I learned how to do my chores like my siblings. It wasn't eat up, sometimes I got mad. Sometimes I wanted to give up, but I never did. Afterward, I was stronger, smarter. I was more confident. Even though I could do some things like the other kids, not everyone believed in me and left me out. In gym class, I was always picked last or had to sit on the sidelines. Some adults talked over me because they could only see my disability. Being different was hard. There were kids who didn't be my friend because my skin is dark brown or because my crutches and leg braces stacked up. The Tin Men, they called me. But I didn't let those people stop me. I wanted to show everyone what I could do. I learned how to play the piano and performed for crowds. I worked hard and made the honor roll every year. I backpacked through Europe all by myself. I even interned at the White House. After college graduation, I got a job in New York City and got married. I had done so much, but something was still missing. I was tired of sitting on the sidelines. I wanted to be an athlete. Then one day, everything changed. In New York City, I joined a running club for people with disabilities. On my first day, I was loaned a hand cycle. Once my feet were set in the foot plates, I cranked the gears and was off. Woohoo! I yelled, zooming through Central Park. I loved cycling, but just like when I learned to walk, I had to practice. I made lots of mistakes. I took turns too fast. I tipped over. I got stuck going uphill. None of it stopped me. Afterward, I was stronger, I was smarter, I was more confident. A fire had been lit inside, and I began competing in races like the New York City Marathon. I felt unstoppable. I was ready to do a triathlon. There was just one problem. I was afraid of the ocean because I didn't know how to swim. Then I remembered Dad's words. You can do it, Minda. Just figure it out. I stopped worrying and asked a coach to teach me. At first, I struggled to breathe and turn my hips. So I focused on swimming, one stroke at a time. 1, 2, 3, breathe. 1, 2, 3, breathe. 1, 2, 3, breathe. Afterwards, I was stronger, I was smarter, I was more confident. I could ride my hand cycle for the bike race, but I needed a racing wheelchair for the run. I had never used one before. The bucket seat was uncomfortable and it was hard to break, yet I practiced anyways, pushing the wheelchair up and down the hills of Central Park. That summer, I crossed the finish line of the New York City Triathlon, excited for my next challenge. I decided to compete in the Ironman Triathlon in Kona, Hawaii. No female wheelchair athlete had ever finished the course. Could I swim? bike and run 140.6 miles? Many people didn't think so. But that only made me want to do it more. You can do it, Minda, Dad said. Just figure it out. I got back to work and trained harder. Over the next 5 years, I completed 10 triathlons all over the world. Afterward, I was stronger, I was smarter, I was more competent. Finally, it was time to compete in my first Ironman World Championship. When the day of the race arrived, my stomach fluttered with excitement. But from the moment the cannon sounded, all my plans fell apart. I panicked swimming in the ocean. My goggles slipped off. I couldn't keep up with the others. Holy insightful. My muscles burned and my throat grew dry. I wasn't moving fast. I was not going to make the time limit. As I reached the top of the 15-mile hill, I was pulled off the course for being too slow. My race was over. I had failed. I can't do it. Maybe it is too gap, I cried. I thought about quitting triathlon forever, but my friends and family would not believe me. Just figure it out, Minda, Dad said. You always do. For the next 9 months, I swam, I biked, and ran more than ever before. I worked with a team of coaches. I ate healthy food. I lifted weights, and I went to bed early. Most of all, I believed in myself. By the day of the race, I was stronger, I was smarter, I was more confident, and I was ready. On October 12th, 2013, I treaded water, waiting for the race to start, along with 2,000 other triathletes. My heart thudded in my chest and my stomach was tangled, but I couldn't wait to swim. With a bang, the cannon went off and I burst through the waves. The Pacific Ocean stretched ahead. Like always, I focused on swimming, one stroke at a time. 1, 2, 3, breathe. 1, 2, 3, breathe. 1, 2, 3, breathe. Then I was onto the bike ride through the scorching hot lava fields. Cyclists whizzed by, but on my hand cycle, I could go fast like them. After hours of riding, my stomach was in knots and my arms ached. Every bump in the road hurt. I checked the clock and shook my head. There were too many miles to go and not enough time. I wasn't going to make it again. I can do it, Raheel. I just need to figure it out. I gritted my teeth and cranked the hand cycle up the last hill. Minda Dentler has made the bike time limit, the announcer shouted as I rode into the transition with 3 minutes to spare. At last, I had reached the final part of the race, a marathon. I shuffled into my racing wheelchair and was off. Whoa! The sun had set quickly, covering the road in darkness. When I reached Palani Drive, my stomach dropped at the sight of the steep half-mile hill. You can do it, Minda, I whispered. Just figure it out. I gripped the wheels tight and zigzagged up the hill until I reached the top. Exhausted, I pressed on for a final stretch. I was almost there. Just a few more pushes and... Minda Dentler, you are an Ironman, the announcer shouted as I crossed the finish line. I did it. A paralyzed orphan little girl from India became the first female wheelchair athlete to complete the Ironman World Championship. If I could do this, I could do anything. I'm so proud of you, Minda, Dad said. You never gave up on your goals. Thanks, Dad. I figured it out. I hope you enjoyed this story about Minda Dentler, and I hope that you take the time to be able to explore swimming or biking or running. When our park gets ready to open, we will have accessible trails like the one that I am on. We're going to have an ADA kayak launch so that everybody has more opportunities to be able to enjoy the outdoors. If you want more information about Palo Pinto Mountains and when we'll be opening in the future, keep an eye on our Facebook and Instagram, and I'll see y'all next time.